While I was working on my A3000 board, the one right here, which you can also see part 1 of up there somewhere, it was apparent that I need better eyesight, and since I don't have better eyesight, I used this magnifying glass, which is good and all, but you have to have 3 hands if you want to solder. That's unfortunate because I only have 2. So I reached out to Andonstar and asked them if they were willing to give me one of their microscopes, and they agreed, and they sent it, and it took a while, and now it's here, and now we will take a look-see. Today we are going to take a look at the Andonstar Digital Microscope series, and there are 2 in this range, which is the 246S and the 249S. These are pretty much the same microscope except for the screen size. The 46 is 7-inch and the 49 is 10.1 inch. So let's check these out. I actually have 2, and one is already here and I used it in previous videos. Let's unbox the smaller one. I think it's a smaller one, and yeah, take it from there. Okay, first let's open this up. This is, it doesn't, it does say LM246SM, and I assume this is the same. Let's see. And it very much is the same. Yes, same microscope. Nice. Okay, so this is definitely the smaller screen size, and I will show you the bigger screen size in a minute. So you agreed it with the components list and a step-by-step assembly guide, and it's pretty straightforward. It's not that you need to be an engineer to actually build this thing. Let's get into this. So the first thing you see if you open this is the screen, and this is, as I said, the 7-inch screen, and it says, warning, the display on this device is very fragile, please use with care, do not drop, press hard, touch the display, because it's not a touch display. Who would have thought? It looks a bit different, and it says Link Micro here instead of Andonstar. So if I show you the other display in comparison, so this is the other display, and if you put it on top here, you can see it's quite substantially larger. And this is not just a display, but this is a complete microscope. So the microscope is in here. You can see here's a sensor, and you put one of these swappable lenses in there and screw them in, and then you have your microscope. You can use a handheld if you want, but it's well, focusing could be a bit hard. So there's a stand. We'll get to this in a minute. And this here also has the microscope attached to it, and you can't remove it. And if you take a look at the stuff on top here, we have an SD card reader, we have micro USB, I think it is, and mini HDMI, so that you can record what you see. And yeah, you can see there's a lens already attached here. This is the A lens, which is 12mm to 320mm distance, and this is the one I work with if I do electronics works. Yeah, this is a focus knob, so you turn this to focus, and you have the different buttons here, on-off switch, menu, up, down. OK, I think is for starting the recording, and photo shooting. So you can take photos with this too. OK, let's put this to the side. There's quite a lot of stuff in here, so let's go ahead. If you are using this as a microscope in terms of a microscope, like in biology or chemistry, stuff like that. You also get some stuff to take a look at, which is dead bugs and legs and stuff like that, which are in these little glass trays. And you get this right here, which you can attach to the base of the microscope, and then you can put your glass thingies up here. But we will not be using these, but they are there. So let's take a quick look and then forget about them. So here's some little metal clips that clip under this here and keep this in place on the plate. And we have a pine stem, epidermis of onion. So this is, you can see this, some onion stuff. A wing of a honeybee. Might be hard to see. A leg of a honeybee. And an eye of some, I don't know, mosquito. I have no use for these. So this, by the way, has a light. So there's a little LED light in here. You can connect it here, and then it shines light up through these glass trays, and then you can perfectly good see what's in there. We have a power supply. I'm powering this with my, I have one of these USB hubs here on my desk, so I'm powering this with this. Some screws, 32 gig SD card, remote control, which I have, I think, never used, but it exists, which is good. Then you get 3 different lenses in total, and we have the A lens already attached, and we have a 4 to 5 millimeter lens, which I think is for use with this light tray light thingy. And we have the L lens, which is 90 millimeters to 300 millimeters. So I will show you the different lenses in use in a minute. And then we have the stand and all the cabling. This is the on-off cable and 2 lights, and I will show that. I will show you that on the other microscope, because it's pretty much the same microscope. Okay, so as I said, this is a bigger display, and it's quite a nice display. Let me put the lens back in here. So you take this lens, or any of the 3, put it in here. Then you have 2 screws holding these in. And that is one thing that I wish could be easier, just to switch these lenses, because you have to completely unscrew the screws and take them out, and then you can get to the lens, which is not great. So here's the microscope, and let me put this on the back. Oh, it's back. Show you. So what do we have here? We have the stand, which is here, and this is where the PCB lies on. So I have some protective cover put on here, some plastic, which is you don't need if you, but I still do it. So no shorting, stuff like that. You have 2 of these lights which point normally down onto the PCB to light the whole scene, because if you don't light it properly, you can't see anything. This lens, this microscope, needs good lighting, and it comes in the box, so this is good. You have this stand, and you can adjust this here. So the microscope sits in here. It goes in here like this, plugs in here, and then points down. I will show you in a minute. You can adjust slightly with this up and down knobs. You can hear them work. And this is the power connector, which plugs into the microscope. From the side, you can see you can also move this further away from the stand, or closer to the stand, depending on the size of your PCB that you have in here. So this is a function I use rather often. And then you have this right here. And this looks like a light, but it's actually an endoscopic camera. So from now on you can do your own rectal exams with this little camera here. And you can just use it in handheld mode, point at anything. There's lights in there, and then you can record what's on there. And on the screen you can see this in a little picture-in-picture mode up here. I don't like this, so I have this camera detached, because if you attach it to the microscope it gives you this picture-in-picture and you can't see the whole PCB. So if you need it, you have it, and you can have lots of fun with your, well, exams. If you are into this, yeah, let's attach the microscope again. And for that, and that is the next thing, we have to remove the lens again, because the screws stick out so far that you can't put this in here. It goes in like this, and it is in place, so it's straight. You can't move it too much here. And then you go and put your lens back in, which only goes in one way too, so there's not much to think about if you are assembling or disassembling this, which is a good thing. And there you have your microscope again. And you should, of course, screw this in here so that it doesn't come out. And you stand it up. And there we go. And you can move this, because this is on this stand here. So the whole stand swivels. And I will screw this down now. It doesn't swivel anymore. You can move this. Here you can see my iPhone recording this. You can move the screen from this, looking in front of it, from here, to this, now looking from, if you want to work standing on this, from the top. And you can completely detach the endoscopic camera. So that is not a point. You can just detach this arm which holds the endoscopic camera, which is good. And then you just have pretty much this one cable which has the light plus minus, so lighter and darker, on off, and you just push this USB cable in here. I have the SD card in here, which I don't need. And if you want to use this endoscopic camera, you just plug it in up here, and then you have another light source here, and you can adjust the light, which we will not do. Or I can show you, but I will not use. Cable management is a thing here, because the cable is pretty, yeah, all over the place. I just cable tied it up here so that it's not in the way of my work. So let's plug this in. I will turn the screen up so you can see it. And what you can't see is the lights spring to life. And the screen says welcome. And what you see now is the plastic foil on my microscope tray. And if I adjust here a little, you can actually see what's there. It's my finger. Hello, finger. I have a CPC detonator here. And that is what I want to take a look at right now. So I will leave this like this, and we can switch to the HDMI view in a minute. But you can see the screen, and you can take a photo here. You can switch between video mode and photo mode, and if you press OK, it saves that on the SD card. So if you press OK, it should go, and now it's recording. You can see it up there. And now it's recording to the SD card. If you're using this over HDMI, I'm using this over HDMI. Okay, so you should switch it off, and then you can plug this in, and then plug it on, switch it on again. There we are again. And then It recognizes that this is HDMI, and here's our capture. And now we have it over HDMI. So let's open up one of these detonator because this one has a problem that whoever produces these is unable to correctly solder on these little HDMI connectors. So let's open this one up and let's take a look inside. So if you are capturing over HDMI, you can see that the screen went blank. So I have to look at the capture screen or whatever you're capturing. Let's switch over to the microscope again. And here we are. You can see this is the CPC Detonator Mini 1.3B of July 2018. I have this lying around for ages. I have actually two of them, and both have the same problem with the cut off or torn off USB thingy. You can see that's where the USB was. It's really just torn off, literally. It doesn't seem to be the best design, to be honest. But no pads have been ripped. Yeah, let's go and try to fix this using the microscope. Yeah, this goes in there. That's good. We need a little flux again. Put some solder on the iron. Don't have to be much because these are teeny tiny wires. And there we go in. Just touch these. Yeah, it's on. So let's take something to test if these are on. Yep, these are good. Okay. So now I have to find a way to secure this port. And first of all, I'm going to melt this solder here away. Yeah, that did exactly nothing. But the port is on, and now I have to find a way to secure it. Yeah, that construction is not ideal by any means. Yeah, but back to the point. We just fixed this, and you can see it's good. Looks good. You can see pretty well while soldering. Even if I'm always looking over there, because there's my screen with the image of what you see with the OBS. Yeah, you can still use this, or you just pull the plug and use it as a standalone HDMI microscope. So what are my thoughts on this? If you are serious about working on PCBs, especially some with surface mount components, or like me on old A2000, A3000 boards, Amiga boards that is, you need this. Doing trace repairs without this is close to impossible. You can do it. You have to use these giant goggles and a magnifying glass, but this makes it so much easier. So do yourself a favor. So these are relatively inexpensive. You can get these with a 7-inch display for, I think, 150 euros, something like this, or 130, 40 euros or dollars. And you can use the smaller screen and just plug it into any monitor you have, because hey, who cares? You have an HDMI out, and that's all that counts. So use that to your advantage. I love this thing, period. And even though Andonstar sent me one of these microscopes, my thoughts and my opinions are my own. This is really a good thing, and I think everyone who has used one and is serious about electronic repairs, especially on that level we just did, will tell you that. So it's nice and sturdy. There are some weaker points like switching the lenses, which involves unscrewing stuff. But other than that, you get a very good value for the price. And yeah, thanks for Andonstar for sending one over here. And yeah, go get one. There's a link in the description below if you want one. You can get these from Amazon and all the different places. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and until next time. Cheerio. So let me quickly show you these other lenses, and I will leave the Detonator PCB here, and I will just switch out the lens. So this was the A lens, this one here. Let me just put it back in here, like this. So this is A. And now let's put in this one, which is the D lens. And let's see what we get. We get pretty much nothing, because this is a very short distance 4 to 5 millimeter lens, and even if I turn the dial here, it doesn't do anything. I have to move the microscope down. So this is for the light box, and I have to go exactly almost on top of the specimen or PCB to see, so that doesn't make too much sense. So we will just go and change the lens. So if you're not into doing that kind of work, so biological analysis or stuff like this, this lens is not for you, the D lens. Let's try the L lens, which should work. So let's take this up instead of down. And see, something's happening. Now we can see. You can also see this is a much bigger magnification than before. So you only see a very small part of the PCB. So this lens is pretty much, I think, the same as the D lens, but with a higher, you can move the microscope higher and have more room for your specimen or PCB. So this is the reason why I work with the A lens, because the A lens, in my opinion, is the best lens for this work. And it just works. Let me switch to A again. Let's try to focus. Yeah. So you can see that is much better comparison. Yeah, so these are the different lenses.
Thank you for watching. Retro is the new black. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. If you like the video, please share. Every like, share, and comment helps a lot. Until next time, bye-bye.